Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. And first of all, apologies for my absence yesterday. Our old friend load shedding popped up unexpectedly for a visit just as I was about to do this reading. And not such a bad thing actually. I'm going to do a reading on Australia, the tour that Meghan Markle apparently hated, thought was pointless. But subsequently to my bout of load shedding, and for those of you who don't know what load shedding is, it's a rolling blackout basically. Subsequently, it emerged that Meghan is considering suing Tina Brown. Tina Brown is, of course, the source of the story that Meghan hated the tour. She thought it was pointless. She could not understand why people were queuing to see her, and she couldn't understand why she wasn't able to spout her word salad and express her opinion about things. She doesn't understand her role as a royal, as a representative of Her Majesty the Queen, and so on and so on. All rather disgraceful, all understandably very upsetting for Australians to hear, who extended the hand of hospitality to Harry and Meghan, who were at that stage still newlyweds. Of course, the baby news was broken on that tour. And so I'm going to be digging around and having a look at how Meghan went into it, what she expected, how she experienced it. I'm also going to be looking at the news, according to Neil Sean, which broke overnight in my time, that Meghan is considering suing Tina Brown. She's been drip feeding some quite juicy tidbits our way, Tina Brown. I have ordered the book, hasn't come yet because things take forever to arrive in South Africa, but I'm very interested to read it myself. So I'm going to be looking at that, of course, the tea throwing story. I'm going to be looking at that as well and seeing if we're going to find out finally the truth around those allegations, those rumors of the hot tea being spilled or thrown at one of Meghan's staff. I'm going to look also at how Australians feel about all of this, how they felt at the time of the tour, how they viewed Harry and Meghan then, how they view Meghan in particular now. So a 7-card reading using just the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot. Let me grab the box, show you regular Rider-Waite. Nothing fancy. Didn't think we needed anything fancy for this. It's scandalous enough, really. The Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot deck there for you. Scandalous in the sense of really being so ill-prepared, so lacking in comprehension of what her role was. She'd had plenty of time. She'd had the best support that the royals could possibly give her, the most experienced staff, grooming her, teaching her, explaining things to her. And she seems willfully, in my opinion, to have misunderstood her role and used it as an excuse to go off on her own little adventure away from the royals. And there is, how funny, her going off on her own little adventure away from the royals, the 7 of Swords as the underlying energy of this reading. Because it was after this Australian tour that she seemed to decide that she wasn't in, she didn't enjoy it, she didn't like being a working royal, so it's not for her. And plans started to be made to leave. So there it is. It's also the card of rather disgraceful behavior, unethical behavior that is less than impeccable, shall we say. 7 of Swords, I think, is pretty appropriate, and the dog has got off his bed to come and agree with me. It's a very hot day here in South Africa, still very hot. I don't know why we're going through a very hot spell, and he's a little bit uncomfortable at the moment. He's ready for winter. He's got his winter coat on, and he's saying, come on, bring it, I'm ready. So, a situation, a signifier for the situation, the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. That's quite funny because it's my merchant card and it's in reverse. I think genuinely she thought that she could go there, make money out of it. Apart from the fact that she seemed to think she and Jessica Mulrooney, who was still, of course, her stylist, and I use that word in inverted commas, would be off having spa days and mini breaks, and it was all going to be luxury and fun. Also think from this Two of Pentacles, and of course all my opinion, tarot reading, just for entertainment purposes, that she thought that she could make money and then she discovered she couldn't make money. That's not what the royals do. Well, on the surface anyway, lots of people speculate that there's lots of dodgy things going on behind the scenes. I'm not reading on that today. Two of Pentacles in reverse, poor choices, poor priorities, picking the wrong thing. She did not understand her role. She didn't realize what her priorities were. She thought money, she thought she could merch, she thought she could, things would be going up on Meghan's mirror and people would be falling over themselves to order those very inappropriate dresses that she was wearing. Of course, the name tag, the see-through skirt, terrible gaffe. The other dress, that stripy thing that she wore on the beach, which was buttoned, well, barely buttoned. There was a slit right up to her, whatever. It was all rather unseemly. But I think money making was on her, well, first and foremost on her mind. Didn't realize that this was not what the whole thing was about. Again, my opinion. So let's see. What was her expectation, her feeling when she went into it? She was not looking forward to it. Four of Swords in reverse. Four of Swords is a defeat card, a resting card, a being left in peace card. And the Four of Swords in reverse is a nuisance, is not being able to rest, hide, retreat, heal. I think she felt very exposed. And of course, the pregnancy news had just been announced. She wore that very pregnant outfit to Princess Eugenie's wedding. And then the bump came and went. I think she wanted to hide. She was not actually ready for this level of exposure with that Four of Swords in reverse. She didn't want it. She didn't, and this is going into the tour. She was not looking forward to being exposed, to being in the public eye, and to be out on display with all that was allegedly going on behind the scenes with the pregnancy. So that is very interesting. That is the going into energy, the Four of Swords in reverse. We're getting lots of swords and not comfortable swords either. Very uncomfortable cards, these. How did she experience the tour? Tina Brown said hated it, thought it was pointless. What do the cards have to tell us about it? Well, the King of Cups, and the King of Cups is very emotional, and not, I think, understanding the level of emotion around it. Didn't get it. Didn't get that people might burst into tears. Apparently someone burst into tears after hugging Prince Harry. I think she just didn't understand the display of emotion towards the royal family. That's how I'm interpreting this King of Cups there. It's emotional mastery, but it is a display of emotions. The King of Cups is in his feels. He's not ashamed of showing emotion. And of course, that is what she would have experienced. She would have experienced possibly uncomfortable emotion for her. She doesn't seem to be someone who really expresses emotion or even experiences emotion. I'm not diagnosing her. I am simply speculating based on what other people have speculated about possible personality disorders and the kind of personality she actually has. Not comfortable around emotion, not comfortable with these open displays of emotion and loyalty towards a ruler. With a king there, we have high authority. And she didn't understand it. She didn't understand her role. She didn't want to be exposed. She decided afterwards that she was up and off, thank you very much. She was going secretly, because the Seven of Swords is a secret energy. It's a stealing away in the night energy. She really didn't get it. Didn't get it at all. Surprising, because she would have seen, of course, all the footage of Charles and Diana in Australia, and she would have surely been expecting that level of emotion for herself and Prince Harry. So I'm quite astonished that she claimed she wasn't prepared, or that the claim is that she wasn't prepared and she didn't like it, didn't understand it. But that seems to be her and her personality. So this business with Tina Brown, moving down to this card here, is she really thinking of suing Tina Brown for saying this, because it does not look good for her at all. Page of Wands in reverse is bad news. It's not a legal card as such, but it is a hostile communication. Page of Wands upright is a happy news, enthusiastic communication. Pages are literally communication cards and messages. The Page of Wands upright would be a very positive message. It would be good PR. She would have enjoyed something. But the Page of Wands in reverse is bad news, bad PR, bad publicity, something that does not reflect well on her. It is not telling me literally right now that lawyers are involved. It's not that kind of energy, but it is definitely telling me that she feels this was a blow, a PR blow to her. It's damaged her reputation in some way. It's perhaps damaged her ability to make money in some way, because this is a central issue. This Two of Pentacles in reverse, my merchant card for Harry and Meghan. And of course for entertainment purposes, and all allegedly as ever. But Page of Wands in reverse, there might have been a letter that was sent to Tina Brown's publishers, a preliminary letter. We do know that Harry and Meghan like to send such letters to the press, warning and threatening and complaining. So I think that is what is going on. That kind of correspondence, that kind of discontent being expressed. Let us see now if we will find out about the tea incident, the alleged tea incident. 10 of Wands, we may well. Somebody is carrying this burden, and somebody is tired of carrying it. Because the 10 of Wands is a burden that somebody is carrying all by themselves. And there you can see a little castle in the background, and this ordinary Rider-Waite. In the distance, a castle. This burden is being carried by somebody connected to that castle. And this person is exhausted and overwhelmed. We have two overwhelmed energies, in fact, because we have the Two of Pentacles is an overwhelmed energy as well. It's very standard reading for the Two of Pentacles in reverse. You can't deal with things. You're overwhelmed by the decisions and the choices you have to make. Somebody is not liking it. Somebody has reached the end of their tether with the story and wants to put those wands down, wants to perhaps release that story into the public domain with that card. So I think there is a possibility. It's not a big, huge, loud yes, but it is indicating the energy of the person that is in possession of the details of the story. If there is such a person, let us of course say again, it's all an allegation, it is all a rumor, and allegedly the context was that somebody walked in on Meghan while she was trying to fit her bump, and that is what provoked this outburst, this tirade, the hurling of crockery. So it's there in the energy, but it's not quite ready. It's a culmination point. It is at the final moment of decision time, I would say, to drop this burden, to drop this news, and to let it out. I think if this goes, then that goes. The cards aren't being particularly clear. This is very new energy. This is very early days, and I think this is a story we're going to have to keep our eye on, because it seems to be developing and brewing. And Harry and Meghan have had some very bad PR recently, not invited to all kinds of things, Met Gala being the latest. Dog is shouting in agreement now, and so it might have to fight back for some damage control. So how did Australians feel? I know I have many of you watching my channel, and I'm always grateful to see you in the comments, and I'm very grateful for your support, as I am for all of your support, of course. But how did Australians feel while Harry and Meghan were actually there? This is not a happy card. The Six of Swords, not a happy card at all. It's almost as if they wish they would go away, because the Six of Swords is a travel card, and it is to travel, put long distances between yourself and something that's tricky. More swords coming up here. And it's interesting that I think they felt to them that Harry and Meghan were not in a good space. It felt to them, let's say that rather, that perhaps people saw through the facade of this so happy couple, and weren't convinced of it at all, and did not appreciate the tour, because it has that touring energy. It's traveling, international travel, the Six of Swords. That's a standard interpretation of that card, literally traveling away from troubles. either traveling to Australia away from troubles, or Australians wishing, and I think it's the latter, Australians wishing that they would just go away. Of course, strange things happened, not in Australia necessarily, but in Fiji. That scene at the market that was most undignified and jarring for a royal on tour. And so there were things bubbling away that didn't look good, and it was noted. So this is not flag waving happiness and drinking the Kool-Aid. They saw through it, and well done for that. They definitely saw through it, and they definitely weren't convinced. How do they feel now that this news has come out from Tina Brown and her book? How do Australians feel? 8 of Wands in reverse. And this is a blockage card. This is another bad news card. We've got 2 now. 8 of Wands is good publicity, is messages going to and fro, progress, movement, things unblocking. It's exciting energy. It's dynamic energy. It would have been, the tour would have been exciting if this card was upright. But this is blocked energy. They don't want to really almost hear about it. They're not interested in hearing about Harry and Meghan anymore. They're over it, they're done with it. I think it's this energy of, if somebody comes onto TV and starts talking about Harry and Meghan, they'll change channels. They're so over it. It's don't want to hear about it, not interested, go away. It's echoing that go away energy. Really, really interesting cards coming out, that they're not going to fall for any of the stories that Harry and Meghan put out. If it was the upright energy, it would be falling for stories. It would be buying the PR, falling for it, but they're not. I'm not interested, don't want to hear about it, don't want to know about it. And I think done with the 2, and done particularly with Meghan. And interesting. And quite glad that I waited today to do this reading, for this extra layer of complexity with Tina Brown and the possible litigation. As I said, something to keep an eye on. That's that reading, and I'm going to hurry on and do the next one because load shedding is with us until Monday. So just to let you know that if I am not around for a day or 2, that's because I just don't have enough hours in the day to get to these readings, along with all my other many commitments at the moment. I'm sorry about that, but that is just the way things are at the moment.